Kimberly, I just saw your text from this afternoon. Are you insane? Are you actually going to get married?
I'm sorry, is there some kind of problem with that? It's not like this should be breaking news to you. I told you a while ago that I was seeing a guy and we were pretty seriously thinking about marriage.
Don't dodge the issue. You're free to marry whoever you want. I don't care. The problem is the timing. I will not allow you to get married before your brother.
Clark, but he doesn't even have a girlfriend right now.
Then you'll have to put off your wedding for a year or two, however long it takes for Clark to get married. Once he's married, then you'll have my permission to get married yourself.
However long it takes? Are you serious? Besides, every single time Clark has ever started dating a girl, you immediately come between them and force them to break up.
Your brother has responsibilities as the heir to our family business. He's going to be the president of the company someday. I can't allow him to marry some rubbish woman from off the street. I won't allow him to marry any woman but one who is genuinely worthy of him. It's my duty as his mother to help him choose a suitable wife.
Okay, so when you say however long it takes, what are we talking about? 5 years? 10 years? What?
Who knows? However long it takes means however long it takes. All I do know is that you're not allowed to get married until Clark does.
I know this probably doesn't matter at all to you, but I've talked to Clark, and he's completely fine with it.
Oh my goodness. That Clark is such an angel. I'm sure it must have been so hard for him to say those words to you. He's so kind to be able to consider the feelings of even a pathetic failure like you. But it must have been killing him inside to hear that you were going to get married before him. Your brother's kindness aside, I'm the one who has the final say here, and I say no. That's final.
Hey, Kimberly. I just got off the phone with Mom. Guess you finally told her that you're getting married, huh?
Hey, Clark. Yeah, and just as expected, she was completely against it.
She's so determined that you can't get married before me. Even though the reason it's taken me so long to get married myself is because she keeps getting in the way whenever I find a woman I like.
Yeah, apparently she won't let you marry any woman who is undeserving of being the wife of a company president. Any idea what that means?
In short, it means that she won't let me marry any woman who won't do everything she says, how she says it, when she says.
Good grief, when did our mom become such a stereotypical overbearing mother-in-law? She's the kind of character you see in cheesy soap operas.
Right? My thoughts exactly.
Anyway, we're going ahead with moving the plans for the wedding along with the schedule, regardless of whether Mom approves or not.
Good for you. That's exactly what you should do. Besides, it doesn't matter anyway, since I'm already gonna get married before you.
Yeah. Wow, it's actually really impressive that you've managed to hide your girlfriend from Mom for so long.
I didn't have any choice. I know for certain that she's the only girl in the world for me. She's my soulmate, my life partner. I don't have a life without her in it. I'll do whatever it takes to marry her, no matter what it costs.
Well, I'm glad you found someone like that.
And the same to you.
Thanks.
Oh, by the way, it looks like Dad is finally making his move too.
Yeah, I heard. He's called me the other day to tell me about it. I'll bet there are gonna be a few bumps in the road ahead for us, but I'm 100% sure that there's happiness waiting for us on the other side.
Me too.
Kimberly, you've got some serious explaining to do. What's this I hear about you preparing for your wedding? I made myself very clear that you are not, under any circumstances, allowed to get married before your brother does. What is wrong with you? I am your mother, and you will do as I say. That you would show such disrespect to your own elder brother is disgusting. It's disrespectful to your father and I. It's disrespectful to the entire family.
Not to worry, Mom. Everything's going according to plan. Clark will be married by the time my wedding rolls around.
What do you mean?
Oh, and just so you're not under any false impressions, this isn't happening because I decided I would obey your command about not getting married until Clark does. This is just how it happened to turn out naturally.
You're talking nonsense. How can Clark get married? He doesn't even have a girlfriend.
I've got a great idea. Why don't you go ahead and ask Clark directly about this instead of hearing it from third person from me?
Ask him about what?
He's been saying that he'd let you know once everything was in order, so I think he'll probably be fine with talking to you about it if you ask him. I gotta go now. We have a meeting with the wedding planner in a bit.
Hold it right there, Kimberly.
Talk to you later, Mom.
Hey, Mom. I understand that it's finally time for you and I to have a little talk.
Clark, please, tell me what on earth is going on. Your foul little sister is telling all sorts of bizarre tall tales. Like that you're getting married. That's ridiculous, isn't it? You don't even have a girlfriend. How could you get married? She couldn't be content with just being a failure of a daughter. She had to become a vile little liar too.
That's one of the things we need to talk about, Mom. I need an answer from you right now. Why'd you call Kimberly a failure? Why'd you treat her like a second-class child? She's pretty successful in her career. She's responsible, a good member of the community. I have no idea why you treat her the way you do, and I want you to tell me.
Why? Isn't it obvious? She never even went to college, and she didn't even go to a decent private high school, just some crummy local public high school.
Are you joking? Mom, you're the one who told her that you wouldn't pay for her to go to a private school. You forced her to go to that public school.
You, on the other hand, truly make me proud to be your mother. You went to the finest prep school in the county, and then to the finest private university in the state. And after graduating, you started working for one of the largest companies in the country. And what's more, you've started your own company that you're now the president of. Honestly, the two of you are so drastically different. It's hard for me to believe that you're even siblings. How could I not call her a failure? That's what she is.
Okay, well, I've had just about all I can take of that conversation, so if it's all right with you, I'll just move along to the next order of business. Mom, I got married.
You what? Oh, Clark, you're something special. Don't worry, you don't have to play along with Kimberly's delusions. We both know she's a compulsive liar. Don't worry at all about what that little failure thinks. You go ahead and take your time to pick the most perfect woman in the entire world as your wife. I'll be here to support you every step of the way.
Will you please listen? I really did get married to the secretary in my office. So no, Kimberly isn't lying about this.
You what? Your secretary? You mean the one with the glasses? The person who came to pick you up to drive you to the airport for your business trip. That secretary.
Yep, that's her.
That was the woman?
I guess I don't blame you for not realizing that. You've only seen her in her work attire. She always wears slacks and a jacket when she's at the office, and hey, she's pretty tall. So there are actually a lot of people like you who think she's a man at first. She may not seem the type, but she actually used to be a professional model in her teens. She's gorgeous. She dresses plainly like that on purpose to keep men from hitting on her and distracting her from work.
I don't believe this. How could you go over my head and pick a woman by yourself, Clark? I do not approve of this. Not one bit. How am I supposed to live together in the same house as a woman who dresses like a man? She'll completely ruin the mood of this house.
What are you talking about? We're not going to live together with you.
What?
I've told you before that I'm moving out of the house as soon as I get married. This shouldn't be news to you, and furthermore, you also knew that as soon as me and Kimberly got married, that you were going to move to the new house that Dad's building near where he's living for work right now.
But that place is out in some backwater town. They don't even have a Starbucks.
We talked about this over a long time, and you had accepted that, Mom. You're not going to go back on your promise now, are you? Don't tell me, is this the reason you've been interfering in our love lives for all these years? Have you just been trying to desperately cling to your cosmopolitan lifestyle as long as possible?
No, that's not it at all.
I'll take that as a yes. Moving on.
Clark, can I tell you something?
Nah, not interested. Like I said, moving on. I bet you've already heard this, but Kimberly isn't planning to invite you to her wedding. I think you might want to take some time to do some serious introspection on why that happened, and what you need to do to make it right.
Hello there, Kimberly. Today is your big day, isn't it? I bet you're excited. I prepared a big surprise for you. I hope you'll enjoy it. Well, Kimberly, what did you think of my big surprise? You were surprised, weren't you? Mom, what in the world was that? I was worried you might go and do something stupid, so I did have my guard up. But wearing all black to a wedding? Black hat, black dress, black coat, black shoes, you even painted your fingernails and toenails black. Yes, well, getting married to someone like you is practically a funeral, so I came to mourn for your poor husband. And if I'm going to mourn, it only makes sense that I would dress for the occasion. This is what you get for being such a rebellious little brat. Is it really this fun for you to do everything in your power to sabotage your own daughter's wedding? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Your brother betrayed me and married a woman without my permission. And once you get married, I'm going to have to move away from a civilized society to live around a bunch of backwards country bumpkins who probably can't even spell the word university. Is that really all? I like living in the city, don't you get it? And now that I've brought your wedding to a halt, you're not getting married anymore. You'll be single forever. I'll see to that personally. Oh, and one other thing. Now that your brother has moved out, I'll need you to move in and take over for him. Without him around, this house is turning into a real mess, so you'll need to get ready to move as soon as possible. You are really oblivious, aren't you, Mom? We've been legally married for some time now. What? My husband and I were officially married just about a month ago after Clark got married. And I'm currently enjoying the newlywed life with my husband right now, so I'm afraid I don't really feel much like moving in with you. You what? And besides, the wedding is still on. No, that can't be. Well, to be more precise, the reception is still on, and it's going to start soon. Fortunately, there are no other parties who booked the reception hall today. We talked to the manager, explained the situation, and he's willing to give us a few hours extra for no charge. What a generous guy. I thought for sure it would have been cancelled. Once again, fortunately, we only planned a small wedding for the family members and close friends. They're all being very understanding, and they had no problems with continuing the ceremony right where we left off. I won't let that happen. I'm going to barge right through the doors of that reception hall and give you another piece of my mind. Mom, really? Are you 12? You're such a child. Excuse me? We requested additional security staff from the venue, so no, you're not getting into the reception. Don't even bother. You can go home now. You're no longer needed here. How dare you? You're kicking your own mother out of your own wedding? Do you actually think you're in any position to be acting so indignant right now? And not to mention, aren't you forgetting the position you're putting Clark in? What? What position? I could have sworn I told you about this. Maybe you just weren't paying attention.
My husband's father is the president of the company that just so happens to be the single largest client of Clark's company.
He is?
I've explained our family circumstances to him, so he also had an idea you might be up to something. But to have the mother of the president of the company he pays millions of dollars to every year storm into the wedding of his own son, makes a massive scene, disturbs all the guests, and deliberately try to shut down the wedding? You have to understand, he's furious right now. Thanks to you, Clark was basically on his knees begging for his forgiveness for about 20 minutes straight. It was the most fervent apology I've ever seen. And you know who was right there alongside him? Dad. In the end, it was my husband who was finally able to calm him down. And after I explained in greater detail what kind of nutjob you are, his anger actually turned into sympathy for us. Do you have the slightest bit of remorse for almost single-handedly destroying your son's company?
I had no idea.
Plus, you can stop pretending. I know the real reason you don't want to leave the city. And honestly, I have to say, it makes me ashamed to be your daughter.
Kimberly, please, you've got to do something. Talk to your father for me. He's going to divorce me. Can you believe it? If you could just talk to your father and explain how this is really all your fault for disobeying me, I'm sure he'll understand. So you've got to call him right away, okay? Kimberly, answer me this instant. Your disgraceful behavior has ruined my reputation. Now everyone has turned against me. All of our family, my friends, even your brother. And it's all your fault. You need to fix what you did. Kimberly, pick up the phone.
What an embarrassing display. Really, she just refuses to see reason. I bet she didn't even finish the conversation with my dad before she started bombarding me with texts and calls. Somehow she's under the impression that it was what happened at the wedding that caused Dad to divorce her. But that's not actually the case. You see, my dad hired a private detective to look into Mom's activities. He was perplexed by how desperate my mom was to stay in the city, even going so far as to work overtime to prevent me and Clark from getting married. And what he discovered was that Mom was having an affair, or at least she was trying to. There's a man in one of her exercise classes who she's been flirting with non-stop for the last 5 years or so, but he hasn't been responding to her advances. It got to the point that she practically stalking him, and it seemed he finally had enough of her nonsense because he got a restraining order against her. So Mom ended up being divorced by her husband, disowned by her 2 children, and unceremoniously dumped by the man she had been pining after for 5 years. I guess Mom got her wish after all. Now she gets to spend the rest of her life in the city, although now she'll be doing it alone, in a quiet, run-down apartment on the bad side of town.
Hey, babe. How did the second day of your work trip go? Isn't it really hot where you are? Yeah, it was ridiculously hot today. I guess I should have expected that, coming to a town at the bottom of a basin. We had rain all morning, so the humidity had the whole place feeling like a sauna. That sounds awful. You're done with work today, right? Yeah, I came back to the hotel and immediately took a long shower. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, I went to a corner store nearby. Don't worry. Make sure to eat something healthy, okay? Getting food outside in this weather was exhausting, I bet. Yeah, it's so hot now that I don't even want to go outside. It's only the second day, but I want to go home already. How is Noah doing? He's doing great. Almost too well with how energetic he is. He is a growing boy after all. He's been really enjoying school lately. He's getting along great with his friends. I'm glad to hear that. You were saying he really likes his teacher, right? Ms. Addison, right? She seems pretty young to be teaching already. Yeah, I've heard from the other moms that their kids all love her too. She's still in her 20s, but that doesn't hold her back. The other parents really love her too. I really hope she can teach Noah again next year. Me too. I'm always glad if Noah can enjoy his time at school. But he does seem a little lonely since you left. He's been asking me, when will Papa come back? Over and over again. Really? He's really grown lately, but I guess he is still a child at heart. He's the cutest, isn't he? No matter what, he is still our little boy. Tell him that I'll be home as soon as I can. Also, that it's good to have fun at school, but not to give his teacher too much trouble. I'll make sure to tell him. You take care of yourself too, okay? Drink lots of water. Thanks. You too. I know you will take good care of everything while I'm gone. Love you. I'm so sorry for not picking up. We've got a bit of an emergency over here. Where have you been? I've got an emergency to deal with too. Trust me, what I have to deal with is worse. Noah was in a car accident. I'm in the ambulance with his teacher right now. Please come home as soon as you can. Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? There's no time to talk. Just hurry up. No, you hurry up. Where are you? I just told you. I'm riding in an ambulance with Noah's teacher right now. Huh? But you're on a business trip. I cut work short and came home immediately. Why are you there ahead of me? His teacher contacted me to say that he'd been injured. Ms. Addison is sitting right next to me. Why'd she call you ahead of me? The emergency contact is listed as our home number and then me. She couldn't reach you through either, so she had to act fast. She used Noah's phone to contact me. And that's how I heard about Noah. It's a good thing we bought Noah that cell phone. He was pretty upset about not being able to reach you. What about your work? I apologized to my boss and left. It was an emergency. I had no choice. Anyway, where exactly have you been? This sounded like it happened hours ago. How is he in an ambulance? It's just been nothing but questions from you this whole time. What's up with you? Just answer me already. How are you there already when you were away on business? There's no way you could have made it in time to ride in the ambulance with him. What? You don't know anything about what's happening, do you? Noah was already admitted to the hospital hours ago. I went straight to the hospital when I got back. Then why are you in an ambulance right now? We are currently being transferred to a bigger hospital that's better equipped. All right, that makes sense. What's going on with you right now? Why the hell did you lie to me earlier? Where even are you right now? Is Noah okay? He's still unconscious. So, what does that even mean? Please tell me exactly how he's doing. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you more than that. If you want to know, just come here yourself. Where the hell are you when your own son is in critical condition? I was just out of the house for a bit. Today Noah went to a friend's house right after school. So I thought it would be fine for me to leave the house until I needed to pick him up. Why didn't you just say that then? Why would you bother to lie about it? Were you that worried about me finding out that you'd left the house? Not being able to be there when my child needs me felt like I'd be a failure of a parent. I didn't even notice when I was being so desperately contacted. And so I just said that I was already with him. Miss Addison was calling you repeatedly and you didn't notice for hours. What could you possibly have been doing that you didn't notice that? I'm sorry. I only just now noticed the messages she left. Miss Addison was there at the accident and stayed with Noah the entire time. She's been a huge help. She might even be more reliable than you right now. Please don't get mad at me. The only reason I lied is because I was afraid you'd yell at me. That isn't going to cut it. You tried to hide the fact that you couldn't arrive on time by lying about it. It's almost like you're hiding something from me. I'm not hiding anything. You keep giving me vague answers whenever I try to ask where you even are. It's suspicious, no matter how you look at it. Noah is more important right now. Now isn't the time to hound me over something so stupid. Is that what you think? You're the one who was uncontactable and unlocatable while your own son was hospitalized. Didn't I ask you earlier to take care of everything while I was gone? I am so sorry. I don't need more apologies. Just explain what's going on. I promise I'll explain everything later. Right now, I just need to see my son. I don't know what you're up to, but just hurry up and get here. When exactly do you plan on getting here? How far away did you end up? I'm not coming. What? I don't want to. Cut it out already. Are you trying to get out of explaining yourself to me? I know that no matter what I say, you won't ever forgive me. What are you so terrified of? Our son is fighting for his life as we speak. And yet you won't even be there for him as his damn mother. Me being there won't change what happens. It's best if just you and Miss Addison are there. You're his mother. Miss Addison already had to go back to the school. Both the principal and vice principal came in her place. And yet you refused to come. If I come, you'll just blame me, won't you? You're refusing just because you don't want to be yelled at. Whatever. Don't come then. Don't even bother to come visit him later. No. It's not like I'm not worried sick about him. But you're letting your fear of my anger keep you from even seeing your own son. What kind of mother are you? There's no point in even trying to lecture you at this point. Don't say that. At this rate, it would be better for you to just keep screaming at me. I don't have time to bother with you. I'm gonna call my parents and have them come instead. Just stay wherever you are and don't come back. At this point, I know I can't even count on your help. I was cheating on you. What? I have a lover. I was at an all-inclusive resort with him today. I left my phone behind when I went to the jacuzzi. That's why I didn't pick up. You were away with your lover while your son was hit by a car. You are the biggest scumbag on the face of this earth. I hope you can never look at yourself in the mirror after what you've done. This is exactly why I didn't tell you. You didn't even notice when me and Miss Addison called you repeatedly. How long were you in that damn jacuzzi? 2 or 3 hours. The room has an en-suite bathroom with a jacuzzi, so I could go in and out as much as I want. So, that's what it was. But it's not like you were in the water that whole time. For you to completely forget about your phone, things must have really heated up with that guy of yours. Once I got out, I saw all the missed calls from Miss Addison. And then I heard the voicemail about Noah's accident. I thought you'd be suspicious if you knew I wasn't at the scene immediately, so I just lied about it. So, the thing you were willing to sacrifice everything to hide was your secret lover? Then you go and be happy together. Okay? Wait! Hold on! I only lied because I didn't want to ruin the life I have with you and Noah. I don't care. I really don't. Why you lied makes absolutely no difference at all. You and I are through. I had no way of knowing that something like this would happen. This couldn't have come at a worse time. Why did this have to happen to our little boy? If his teachers had been watching him properly, this never would have happened. The accident happened after school. It wasn't even on school grounds. You can't blame the teachers for this. That's why I'm so grateful to Miss Addison for rushing to Noah's side. But if Miss Addison had been with him that whole time, maybe the accident could have been fully avoided. Stop trying to push the blame on her. That will come after the police and school staff convene about the incident. For now, we have to deal with your whole mess. How long have you been sleeping with this guy? About 2 years now. How old is he? 22. That's pretty young. You've been meeting him while I was at work and Noah at school. So, you've been going behind our backs from the very beginning. I messed up, okay? You sure did. Unluckily for you, I'm not so big-hearted that I can forgive something like this. I'll get on my knees if I have to. I'll do whatever you say. So, please, just forgive me. In that case, I'll have you sign the divorce papers for me. Once Noah recovers, I want you gone. Please, just give me one more chance. Haven't I been a good wife to you this whole time? That's completely irrelevant now. The whole time we've been married, you haven't worked once. Why bring that up now? I was just wondering whose money you used to go on that spa trip. It certainly wasn't the money you earned from your non-existent job. Well, Don't tell me you've been using my money to mess around with your lover. Where did you even meet a guy so young? He's from an escort agency. He works at an upscale club on the side, and I'd always request him to serve me. You hired an escort? Just when I thought you couldn't get any lower. Where did you get that kind of money? You didn't dip into our savings, did you? I'm so sorry. We were saving that money for Noah's education. You used that for your affair. I was scared that he'd abandon me if I didn't keep spending money on him. In the place where he works, they won't even pay attention to you unless you order the expensive stuff. Do you think I care about that? You cheated on me and stole from our savings. There's no going back. I'm going to tell your parents about this too. Wait, let me talk to them first. If I let you do it, you'll probably just keep lying to them. So I better do it. I promise I'll tell them the truth. Who do you think I am? A backstabbing cheater. A filthy liar. A worthless woman. Okay, I get it. You want to get rid of me, don't you? Well, it's the same here. A younger, more handsome boy is better for me anyway. I don't need you. Great. Then we're in agreement then. And just so you know, you're going to have to still pay child support after this. And you better believe I'll be speaking with my lawyer to try and sue you for every possible thing I can. Fine. I'll get you your money. Oh yeah? From where? You haven't worked in ages. Even if you work yourself to death, it will only cover child support and living expenses. You won't have money left for luxuries. Don't think that you'll be able to keep living how you are now. Still, I'll figure something out. Where the hell is all this confidence coming from? My lover is kind and caring. He treats me like I'm his princess. He made me remember all the thrills of being in love. With him, I know that I can live a happy life. So I don't care if you abandon me. How long do you think he will keep getting clients? After he quits being an escort, where will the money come from? Have you even talked about the future with this guy? No, but I don't need to. He'll support me. How do you know that he wasn't just sticking with you for the money? I wonder if a guy like that would really be willing to support you. You don't know anything about him. You're right. I don't. But still, it was just an affair. If it was real, you wouldn't have to always spend so much money on him. You aren't even really dating. You're just client and escort. Then what do you suggest I even do? If you're going to throw me away, who am I supposed to live with? Just go and live with your parents? There's no way you can afford to live on your own. Once they know I cheated, they'll cut me off for sure. You know how my dad is. All right then. I don't know what to tell you. Live in the park. I don't care. There's one thing we have to decide on still. Even if we split up, you'll still let me see Noah, right? If Noah wants to see you, then I'll let him. But once Noah is a little older, I'll explain to him what you did to us. And after that, I'll respect his wishes on what he wants to do. What are you saying? You intend to drive me and Noah apart? How dare you take a child from his mother? Noah is my reason for living. It doesn't matter what you say. You are the one who betrayed us in the first place. Don't try to act like such a loving mother when you won't even come see him in the hospital. You have no right to even call yourself a mother. I get it. I'll come see him now. It's better if I come, right? Nah, don't bother. There are still things that I can do for my son. You let some guy distract you from caring about your own son. What exactly can you do for him after that? You can't be trusted with anything after you fail to protect him. That night, my son finally regained consciousness. My wife still didn't show up until 3 whole days later. I ignored her, knowing she was only here as an excuse. I focused fully on taking care of my son. Once Noah was able to return to school, me and Michelle got divorced. I wanted to split up earlier, but I thought it would just make things worse if Noah's mother disappeared while he was still recovering. After our divorce, it seems like Michelle tried to get help from her lover, but just as expected, he rejected her. Really, she was just a piggy bank to him. I don't think he was interested in a homeless woman saddled with child support and court fees. Noah didn't have any lasting complications from the accident and returned to his happy school life. On top of everything, Noah was lucky enough to get Ms. Addison again for a teacher for a 2nd year in a row. After Noah left the hospital, she made sure to help him with all his late schoolwork. And when I had to explain everything to Noah, she gave him emotional support too. She even worried about how I was doing. She would ask how I was, if I had been getting enough rest. When I got that letter from her, I ended up crying from how overwhelmed I was. I guess it was like I had been hurt too by everything that happened. She is someone that me and my son are both deeply indebted to.